Hey guys, it's Dan O'Donnell here, and I'm doing a video that was requested by Daniel Douglas. Thank you, Daniel. It's the second one you've requested that I've done, so I appreciate it. Keep the ideas coming, and this is a good one. I'm surprised I didn't think of it myself. But the topic is mastermind groups, and I wore my winning shirt. I thought it was kind of applicable, and I haven't worn the shirt in probably 2 years. So I think it applies to mastermind groups, and hopefully this likeness of a certain famous person doesn't get the video pulled off of YouTube. Maybe I should just go like this. I don't know what the deal is with trademarks and all that, but hopefully he likes it. Maybe he'll comment on here. Anyway, regardless of how much tiger blood you have flowing through your veins, mastermind groups can help you out, and I'll teach you what I know here quickly, kind of the Cliff's Notes version. I've been in a lot of mastermind groups over the years, starting when I was probably like 21 or so, somewhere in there, right, shortly after I got into real estate. And so the first group I was in was a bunch of real estate investors and people that were realtors and loan officers and things related to real estate investing. And we helped each other out. We helped each other get past places that we were stuck on deals and kind of build our business systems and everything. And if you're wondering why I'm in this other room today, it's because it's about 100 degrees out there in the room I usually do these in, and I just can't handle that today. I'm too hot. So anyway, that really helped me learn because I was so new in real estate and I was in this group with people who had been in it for a lot longer than me. It really accelerated my learning process for real estate investing. And it was a small group, so we had a lot of time to help each other out individually. It was probably about 6 people, something, I'm guessing we had 5, maybe 7 at each meeting. And that's kind of the magic number. I try to stay below 6 at the most. I've been in groups that are 7, but then you get kind of rushed because you try to allot an equal amount of time to each person, each meeting. I know some meetings rotate where one member is on the hot seat at each meeting, but I personally prefer that every member gets time each meeting, and if they don't have anything they really need to talk about, they can cede their time to other members. I think that, say you're meeting weekly and you have 5 members and you have to wait 5 weeks for your turn. By that time, man, your problem's either gotten worse or you've already fixed it. So I like to do it weekly. And as far as like the quick tips I would give you is it's just like in cooking, the chefs say like the most important thing about making a dish is the ingredients, right? So the most important thing in a mastermind group, it's really sort of 2 things, but the main thing is who you put in it. And that's probably pretty obvious, but the more experience you can get in there, the more helpful attitude type of people you can get in there, people that are really making something happen and they're in motion, that's contagious for the rest of the people in the group. If everybody's just kind of ho-hum, la-di-da, maybe I'll do something someday, that's contagious too. So you want to get around people that are in motion. And, if you're kind of in between projects and taking it easy and recharging your batteries for a while, maybe that's just not the right time for you to be in a group. Wait until you've got something that you're really working on and jump in a group. And my approach to this, rather than waiting for somebody to ask me to be in their group, which may or may not ever happen, right? I prefer to act on life rather than waiting for life to happen to me. So I've formed a lot of groups. That first one I was in, it wasn't my idea, but I joined it and I kind of saw the power of what these things can be. And then I went on to create several other groups, and I got asked to be in one other group that I can remember. And I've made a lot of my biggest decisions at the times when I've been in mastermind groups. It really has accelerated what I've done. It's helped me make better decisions, but mostly for me, the main benefit, besides bouncing ideas off of other people, has been the accountability to get it done. Some people call mastermind groups accountability groups. There's probably other terms for it. I think the term mastermind group was probably coined by Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich, but I've definitely heard them called accountability groups too. And so get the right people in the group. One little trick on how you can do that, it's kind of like a crowdfunding campaign. You know how you say, hey, would you pay $50 for this widget I'm making if enough other people will also pay $50 so I can actually make it? And people say, yeah, okay, contingent on you getting everybody else to do it, I'll do it. You can do the same thing with mastermind groups. You can say, hey, I've got these 6 people in mind that I want to ask, or whatever, 4 people, 5 people. And this is what I'm trying to help you think about here, is how you can kind of get people in the group that are a little bit higher caliber, a little more experienced in your business or whatever it is. This might be a personal group, it might be about fitness, but regardless of what it is, if you want to get people in there that are a little further down the road than you, which can really be good for you, just say, hey, I'm asking this guy, this lady, and these two other people, and if they're in, would you like to be in? And if they say yes, then you can go and tell the other people, hey, this guy's agreed, as long as I can get a few of you guys in, we're going to do this. And then maybe if you're less experienced, that's a better approach than saying, hey, right now I'm the only person in, and I have way less experience than you, which doesn't offer them as much value, right? So if you're looking to sell the idea, say that, here's the group of people I'm thinking about. Are you in if they're in? And there's your ingredients. So as far as the format, what's worked for me, and I'm sure there's other ways that work for other people, but I've done weekly almost every time, and it's usually 1 hour or 90 minutes. I've found that the quality people that I want in the groups, the longer you make the meeting, the less likely they are to say yes. They're busy people, they want to work on things, they have other commitments, so don't try to take up too much of their time. So if it's a small group, say 3, 4, maybe 5 people, you can probably do it an hour. If it gets up 5, 6, 7, you're probably talking 90 minutes, just in my experience, so everybody has enough time. And of course, if something falls on like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or Thanksgiving or something, you can just say, hey, if it falls close to a major holiday, we're going to take it off. So, okay, besides the length of each meeting, the other thing, I try to set expectations, and I say, hey, if you're in, we want you committed for 90 days, or whatever, 12 weeks basically. So 3 months. I've found that's a pretty good chunk of time to get a lot done and help everybody involved, but it's also, you're not asking them to commit forever, right? And then at the end of the 90 days, you can revisit and say, hey, everybody's still in, or maybe some people, maybe their schedule's changed, or for whatever reason, maybe their project's done and they want to take a break, and that's cool. Maybe 1 or 2 people choose to leave and you can replace them. But just set that realistic expectation of 90 days, and while you're in, this is a priority. So no lame excuses. It's just like a work meeting. Like if you're really sick or there's a family emergency, that kind of thing, just like work, that could be excusable. But we don't want you missing it just because you had something else that sounded more fun. This fits into, or more urgent. If you've read Stephen Covey's, what is it called? What is it called? The Habits of Highly Effective People. I think there's more words to the title. The 7 Habits, right? Anyway, yes, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He talks about the quadrant where you've got things that are important and things that are unimportant, and things that are urgent and things that are not urgent. And where you want to be spending a lot of your time is important and not urgent, and that is the most overlooked quadrant. So you've got usually it falls and sacrifices itself to people spending too much time in not important but urgent. And so that would be phone calls or meetings that you're not even sure why you're going to them, or a friend needs a ride to the airport or whatever. These are things that they're not very important, but they are urgent, and people tend to drop everything and pick up the phone and then get roped into something stupid while they took their concentration off of something important, like a mastermind group that could really change their business or their life or their fitness or whatever. So you want everybody to have that mindset that this is a priority. All right. The exact format I've used, I'll give it to you. I should have brought up how many minutes we spend in each one, but I'll give you the basic idea. There's 5 chunks to the meeting, and I got these from Jack Canfield's book, The Success Principles, which was really helpful. I don't know where he got them, but the first section is what's new and good. So you just started off on a positive note, and what went well for you since the last meeting, and everybody gets a little time. And that one, I want to say we give each people like 3 minutes in my meetings. If it's a 1 hour meeting, it's roughly 3 minutes. It's a short, quick one. Some people, they only need 30 seconds. The next one is how did you do on your goals or your commitments from the last meeting? And that's because the next to last section of the meeting is what you're going to do for next time. And we're writing this down. It's either in a Google Doc or on a piece of paper. And we're going to ask you next time, how did you do on your commitment of ABC? So you give us that update. That's another one that's pretty quick, a few minutes. And so it's kind of like homework, and we're going to ask to see your homework at the next meeting. So that, for me, that's helped me keep on track and make progress every week. So again, what's new and good? How did you do on your commitments from last meeting? And then the third one, and notice it's commitments, it's not goals. So it's something that's within your control. I'm committing to do X. And my friend Eric, I've been in a couple mastermind groups with him. He's really good. Sometimes I would set a goal like, I don't know, make 5 sales or whatever, get 2 new clients. And he's like, can you control that? Can you reframe that in a way that you can control? And I go, you're right. Okay, I'm going to talk to 20 prospects, which I have more control over that than getting 2 new clients, right? But it stands to reason that if I have a 10% conversion rate and I talk to 20 people, I'll get 2 clients. So I would set the goal, talk to 20 prospects. This is back in my real estate days, rather than get 2 new clients. So that way I have direct control over my commitment. So the third section is what you need help with. Brainstorming, you want to run an idea by everybody. You need feedback on something. And that's the longest section. That's the meat and potatoes there. And again, depending on how many people you've got in the group, that might be anywhere from like 8 to 15 minutes per person. That's the biggest one by far. And if somebody doesn't have a lot or their thing is pretty quick, they can contribute or cede that time to the rest of the group so everybody else can get a few more minutes. And I've had it sometimes where people say, you know what, honestly, guys, I don't really have anything that I need to go over this week, so I'll give all my time to the other members. And usually somebody in the group has one like burning thing they really need to figure out, and everybody gets a kick out of helping with that. So what are we? We're 3 things in now. So what's new and good? How did you do on your commitments from last time? And then the meat and potatoes. What do you need help with? What can we think through with you? So then number 4 is your commitments for next meeting. So, that's, if it's a weekly meeting, you've got a week to get this done, and what are you going to do? And it needs to be specific, not say something like get more sleep. It would be like be in bed at 10 p.m. every night except for weekends or something like that. So, you might have heard of SMART goals: specific, measurable, I think attainable and realistic, which to me seem like the same thing. And time sensitive is the T. But basically, be specific, and we have a built-in deadline anyway, which is the next meeting. But be specific, and back to what I said earlier, make it something that you can control. All right, and then the final chunk is it's real quick. It's like a minute each or less. Usually we do it in like 15 seconds each, which is just what are you grateful for? So again, just like we started on the high note of what went well, we're ending on the high note of like, hey, what are you grateful for? What's good in your life? So, and then you're done and you're out of there. And the way I always tried to run the meetings, usually if I was the one who started the group, I was also like the referee. I'd be keeping track of the time. And sometimes people want to keep going and you have to say, hey, sorry, but we need to stop there. If we have more time or people want to stick around after the meeting and talk about that topic more, that's cool, but we need to be fair to everybody else in the group. So you need to have somebody be the referee. Some groups will rotate that each week because maybe one person doesn't want to be stuck with that responsibility. But that's up to you. And maybe some people in the group are better at that, or maybe somebody thinks it's fun and you let them do it. Usually you have one person taking notes as well, because at times I've actually had somebody who, my assistant, taking notes while everybody else in the group didn't have to worry about that, which was cool. But usually we would just rotate that responsibility each week. One person would be the secretary or note taker or whatever you call that. So that's the format there. Let's see if I'm forgetting anything. Well, I just want to say again, like a lot of the biggest moves I've made in my business life and personal life have been a really direct result of a mastermind group. The first one I remember was in that real estate mastermind. We started the Bellingham Real Estate Investor Network, which was like a local real estate investors networking group. And we had speakers come in and everything. But the people in the group, in the mastermind group, we decided to do that together, and we just started it. And that really helped me out in my real estate career. I met a lot of people that way. I learned a lot. I got to invite speakers in to talk about topics I wanted to learn about, and then I got to know them. I would go pick them up at the airport, have dinner with them after the meeting and stuff. It was really cool for me to get to connect with people like that. Sort of like a real life in a room version of having a podcast or a YouTube show. If you have a captive audience, people are willing to come in. And again, I was kind of reaching above my caliber, hanging out with people who had way more experience than I did and getting to know them on a one-on-one basis in the car from the airport or at dinner. So You can definitely do the same thing nowadays with a podcast or a YouTube channel. You have guests on that you want to learn from. Anyway, so that was the first one, was starting that real estate network. And then the other one was I was just in a 2-person group with my friend Eric, and that's when I committed to selling my flea market and moving to Thailand. And so what I actually said in the meeting was, I will make a very attractive and reasonable offer to the guy who was working for me as a manager at the flea market. I said I will make him a good offer to sell him the business, because I was pretty sure he wanted to own it. And so again, that was within my control. Rather than saying I will sell the flea market to Joe, I said I will make Joe a very attractive offer, because what he does with it, I don't directly control that. But within I think 2 days, maybe even 24 hours, I had a handshake deal on that, and within about a week, it was a done deal, and I was back in. I was living in Thailand 3 weeks after that meeting. So it was something about talking through it out loud with another person, and Eric is really good at helping me think through ideas, but it just became obvious in talking with him, like, I need to do this. This is the move. Much like recently, I made the same type of decision going down to Phuket. This time I made that decision more independently, but I used a lot of the same thought processes that I've learned in these meetings. So we're 16 minutes in here. I guess that is probably enough on this topic. It's everything I can think of at the moment, but if I missed anything, feel free. I try to respond to every comment, or at least every comment that's a question. And if I missed anything, feel free to let me know. Or if you do it another way and you have some tips for me, that would be awesome too. I'm not currently in a mastermind group, but I could see maybe doing that when I get down to Phuket and meet some new people down there. You know what? One last thing I wanted to say is online versus in a room, in-person groups. I've done both, and of course, if you're doing a group that's local anyway, I'd say if you can be in a room, it's preferable. It's definitely nice to see people eye to eye, and then after the meeting's over, you're in a room. If you're not in a hurry, you can hang out and talk a little bit more, or you can go get lunch maybe, things like that. But I've been in groups where people were spread all over, like Europe and Asia, and so we've done that online, and it worked well. I'd say we use Google Hangouts, and it wasn't uncommon that we would have tech issues, so that can be a pain in the neck. There's Google Hangouts, which you can have a bunch of people in it for free. I think it's like 10 members or something, the last I checked. And then you've got Skype. They have the premium membership, where I think just one person in the group has to have Skype premium, and then you can have more than 2 people in the call. Wouldn't surprise me if Skype was a little more stable. I think Google Hangouts has been getting a lot better, though. So I guess if you can do it in person, I would definitely recommend that. But if you can get great people in that are far away because you do it online, I'd recommend using either Skype or Google Hangouts, and also using a Google Doc, so everybody can edit the doc wherever they are. And then you can check back at the document too, on what you said you were going to do at the last meeting if you forget, or you can see other people's updates, and that can inspire you. And the other really cool thing about having a document, when you look back 2 or 3 months, or if the group lasts longer, you might be able to look back 4, 5, or 6 months, and you can see what you were working on then, and you can really go, wow, I've come so far. It's amazing how much you can get done in a few months if you're really trying every day. So it's really cool to have that record, and you kind of build on that momentum, and it gets you excited when you see how much you've gotten done. So, okay, this is a long video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any ideas for other videos I should do, please let me know. And of course, subscribe. If you're watching this on Facebook, I also put all of these on YouTube, and I may soon be putting these on my OD Young Life podcast, where I might convert these to audio and just put it there, because this has been really easy and fun, and I'm enjoying making the videos. So anyway, thank you, everybody. Have a great day.